Welcome to another edition of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, welcome to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Usually it's friends. Today it's just me. And I thought today would be a good time to talk about what is going on in the world, especially the world of real estate. I was on a call not that long ago, everybody. And by the way, hey, I really appreciate you tuning in. It's always fun to do this show. We sometimes have great guests. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have interesting topics about real estate. Sometimes we talk about whatever comes to my mind. And I just wanted you to know that I appreciate you guys listening to me. Hopefully I'm, at least entertaining at times and providing some content that you find useful. So today I'm just going to talk about the shift, real estate shift, the economy, what is happening. Well, we know some basics, right? Inflation is up. That makes sense, right? We printed, I'm not an expert, I'm not an economist, but we print $6 trillion in 2 years and tell people to stay home, don't spend any money. We had moratoriums on foreclosure. We had moratoriums on eviction. We paid people money to sit around at home. And, maybe that was all good. Maybe it's all bad. Not really, that's all behind us. But some friend of mine said the other day, I saw a post, and she said, the world pandemic lockdown was tough. COVID was tough. But coming out of COVID is really tough. And in real estate, we have 85 real estate brokers now, and I'm the designated broker at Keller Williams. I am seeing stress manifest itself differently in everyone, but in ways that I'd never have seen. Like, if somebody jaywalks and you think they robbed a bank. It's kind of as a metaphor, there's maybe somebody forgets to make an appointment and boom, the world has ended in that moment. I mean, the emotional outburst that I'm seeing is pretty interesting. It's not really something that you can point to and say, everybody's the same. It's all over the board: sellers, buyers, lenders, title companies, escrow company, inspectors, lawyers, conflict. And I think it's a little bit of everything. And I'm not a psychologist; I'm a real estate guy, right? So I'm thinking about it from a real estate perspective. So, one of the things we're trying to teach now is to include grace and forgiveness and generosity as part of your business plan. I think this is a good time to take a big, deep breath and a step back and realize that we shall get through whatever we're going through. This too shall pass, right? So, but what we can't ignore is some of the real issues. We have a serious affordable housing crisis in North Central Washington, just about in every city. We still have supply problems. However, I was on a call with our corporation. I do calls once a week with the president of Keller Williams, a couple of guys, Mark King, Jason Abrams, very smart people if you want to look them up, incredibly smart. And they called it the death cross. And the death cross, basically what they were describing is a graph where for the first time in about 12 years in macroeconomics, meaning the whole country, the 30,000 foot level, there's more homes that came down in price than went up in price or had price increases. And that's the first time in about 12 years that's happened. So that's a pretty good signal that we're in a shift. A lot of people that are house hunting are struggling, especially in that $300,000 to $500,000 range. Interest rates have gone up a couple percent in the last couple months. I think everybody that at least I know are talking about seeing 7-8% interest rates, including this guy named Gary Keller, who's pretty smart guy. He's the founder of Keller Williams. Still owns the company that's in now like 57 countries and pushing 200,000 agents and owned by one guy since 1983. And he said, we should probably see 7 to 8%. Might take a while to get there, hopefully. And nobody knows for sure. That's the thing. I've had people on my show that are pretty smart, and they just don't know. Some people say we're through it. Some people say the worst is yet to come. And I guess if we could predict the future, we wouldn't have to work. We'd just go to the casino, play roulette or something. The good news is if you look back at history, and I know we've been through unprecedented things, but it feels a lot like the spring of 2008 to me. And I'll tell you why. It's not related to what happened in 2008, the Great Recession, which actually, started a little earlier than that. And then by 2010, the market was just destroyed in real estate. It's not exactly the same at all, because back then we had mortgage-backed securities, which stated income loans, for those that weren't around, basically just meant you didn't have to tell anybody how much money you made. If you had a certain credit score and you were in a quote, air quotes, profession and a pulse, you could probably borrow money. So it was this very strange time where everybody was refinancing, everybody was buying, and we just kind of went with it until it burst. Well, we're not in that situation, but we're in a very unique situation nonetheless. Back then, the government did unprecedented things. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, they were approving loans. Just the way we handled the industry was unprecedented. What I see in common with right now is the last couple of years, the government has done some unprecedented things. So the thing about that word, and sometimes it's overused, I guess, but unprecedented means we don't know what's going to happen next. So I'm pretty sure there's no mentors that we could look to and go, hey, guys, what'd you do in the last world pandemic in 1918? I think they're all dead. So we're sitting here trying to figure out what's going to happen in macroeconomics, in the whole country. What's going to happen in microeconomics in our area? What's going to happen in real estate? And there's some crazy things like the war in Ukraine going on that are pretty scary. And people kind of like certainty in their lives. And right now, there's not a lot of it. We all know these things, right? But here's the good news. Adversity can breed clarity if you let it. It can really fine-tune you. It can gear you up. It can piss you off. It can get you off the couch if you decide to make a change. And you just have to want to make a change more than you want to stay the same. That's cliche, but it's so true. That activation center in your brain has to come alive. And what I thought I'd do today in the 3 segments before Sharon Crockett and PrimeLending come on board in our 4th segment, and they're all about 11 or 12 minutes long, is I thought I'd talk about some information that came out of a book called Shift. It was written really for the last shift by Gary Keller, with David Jenks and Jay Papasan as kind of co-authors. But there is some gold in this. In fact, I believe in a market that's shifting. If you're aware, if you're looking up and out as much as you're looking down and in and grinding, you can really do some cool things. Because it's not going to be as easy to sell real estate. It already hasn't. You jump 2% interest, depending on what buyer pool, it's harder. So I thought I'd just start in on some of these concepts. And one of the things he says is the worst that happens to you can be the best thing for you if you don't let it get the best of you. Now, that's a quote by Gary Keller, but basically, the difference between an adventure and an ordeal is your mindset, your attitude. Now, a lot of times people will say, well, that's nice to know all that, but how do I snap my fingers and change the lifetime of programming that I have in a day? Well, you don't in a day. But you have to start by recognizing you want to change more than you want to stay the same. And the good news is there's going to be a lot of casualties in real estate. Why is that good news? Because the people that do the right things in the right order, and they bring work ethic and professionalism on a day-to-day basis, and they do those activities to hit those priorities, and those priorities to hit that goal, you will be able to make it. Because a lot of people are going to do the same thing they've always done, and they're going to hope they get what they've always gotten. There's been a lot of people in real estate in the last 10, 12 years. That's all they've known is 3% interest, unprecedented low interest rates, and a very good market because we live in a very good place. So it's like, hey, I'm a stud. I make 60, 70, 80,000 a year. I work 20 hours a week, or I work 40 hours a week. Well, those days are probably coming to an end. You are going to have to work. You are going to have to be professional. You are going to have to come with some intensity. You're going to get a little pissed off. You're going to have to get a little hungry, and you're going to have to stay very humble. And you have to do the right activities in the right order. And that's one of the things that we're doing at our office at Keller Williams. We are absolutely taking a step back. I call it the Etch-a-Sketch approach to business planning. You remember when we were kids? If you don't remember, look it up on YouTube or Google. It was a little toy game with the two buttons that you draw on, and then when you got the masterpiece done, you turn it over and you shake it, and boop, it's a blank slate. Well, that's where I think we are. I think we start over, relaunch our market center, get real serious about providing better coaching. You know, it's okay to recommit to your goals. I set goals all the time and I don't hit them. And is it frustrating? Yeah, it is frustrating, but I'm always learning. The only time you're not going to be winning is if you're just being negative and you're crying in spilled milk and you're like, oh, if I woulda, shoulda, coulda. Well, that's not going to get you through a shift. That's not going to get you through a shift. What is going to get you through a shift is staying hungry, staying humble, and getting pissed. Starting to decide that I'm going to be a winner. And by the way, success and money have very little to do with each other. Money doesn't hurt. I mean, I'm not allergic to it. But money alone is not going to motivate you to get off the couch. When we come back, I'm going to dive into the book Shift by Gary Keller and hopefully have some good tips and tricks on how to navigate your attitude and your skill sets in a market shift. Be right back. Thanks for tuning in today with Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan and Friends.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home Sweet Home, Home Sweet Home.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038, or simply email us at joinus@kwncw.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck.
You're tuned to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Now back to Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Hey, we're talking about market shifts, and I'm kind of going to go through a book written by Gary Keller. You can find it on Audible. You can go to Amazon. Hell, you can come to our office and talk to us about getting into real estate, because right now, when a market's shifting, is the best time to get in. You know why? Because people aren't going to do anything different than they've always done, and they're not going to make it in the business. You're going to come in fresh, or if you're a veteran, you're going to reevaluate, and you're going to make some modifications and adapt to a new world, right? A new world where maybe we're not an extreme seller's market anymore. More of a balanced market is actually a good thing at times. And this is not the first time real estate professionals have been in this position, a market shift. What's happening to you today has happened before, and it is destined to happen again. Real estate markets shift. They always have, and they always will. Now, what I'm doing, this book Shift, it's just got really cool nuggets, so I just wanted to share them. Shifts happen. What goes up must come down. And here's the good news. What is down won't stay there. So the question is, why in the world do we act so surprised when the market shifts? What goes up must come down. There's no shock here. The Federal Reserve is loaning money to banks at 0%. It's kind of hard to get lower than that. And that was great. But you know what? When I got into real estate business, and you'll hear people older than I am, when they got into real estate business, interest rates were 20%. Literally, when I got into the business, when I was in college in 1989, I started, it was 10%, and everybody thought it was normal. Sometimes it's just adapting your lifestyle to adjust for the payment. And don't be afraid of 5%. Don't be afraid of 6%. Just make good decisions and get good professionals around you. In other words, our profession has learned to live with the regular seasonal shifts, but we've become challenged by irregular economic shifts. Yeah, I think challenging times, the world pandemic will do it to you. 2 years of that'll be something we talk to our kids about. And now that we're coming out of it, it's a little bit confusing. We're not 100% sure what to do. We actually deal with shift all of the time. Real estate is cyclical during different times of the year. Great agents learn when they will have more income and when they will have less due to the seasonality of the business, and they plan accordingly. This is the key. Sometimes you need to hit the corner and press the gas pedal, power your way through it. Sometimes you need to lead with revenue. Most of the time, lead with revenue. Get yourself into a position where that plan B will work. Stay focused on one thing. There's two number one reasons that I think I've really sucked in my career at times. What gets me in trouble is when I get undercapitalized, and that's usually a derivative of I have too much on my plate. I'm spread too thin, Jack of all trades, master of none. Well, that's easy to do, right? It's easy to get excited about so many things with so much information coming at us. You get to work, you look at your website, maybe it's Fox News, maybe it's CNN. You watch that, then you go, oh, what's my stocks doing? What's my crypto doing? Then you watch that. Then you come back and, you get an email, all these emails come in, you go answer all those emails, then you got to go get a drink of water, a cup of coffee, then you got to use the restroom, then you sit back down at your computer or laptop and you look again, pops up more news. By the time you're done, you're busy, but you haven't worked. You've gone through 8 hours and really did about an hour's worth of work. This happens all the time to people because we've never, ever been bombarded with so much information. Turn that crap off. Turn your computer off. Turn your phone off. Don't check your email, but maybe twice a day. And I'm just as guilty as anybody, right, of distraction. It's something bunker building and time blocking are essential to be effective, if nothing else, so you can get your time back. So you can do a lot more work in less time, would be more intense. So what exactly is a shift? A shift occurs when supply and demand move out of balance. Buyer's market, more than 7 months of inventory. Balanced market, 5 to 7 months of inventory. Or a seller's market, less than 5 months of inventory. Well, we're shifting. We are a shifting. There's still a seller's market in that $400,000 to $600,000 range. But at those $1 to $2 million range, it's now starting to be a balanced market. There's about 6, 7 months of inventory. Well, sometimes that's not a bad thing, right? Because one of the problems with, especially if you've built up a lot of equity, and maybe you got lucky, maybe you inherited it, maybe you bought right years ago, but now you have a bunch of capital gains. So you got to be careful in a pure seller's market, because what are you going to do? Where are you going to move? If you sell and tap that equity, what are you going to replace it with? So timing of the market and getting really good advice on market conditions is important. So when it becomes more balanced, maybe you still can pop your equity, and then as the market becomes more balanced, you'll get a better deal because you'll have that cash. So there's just situations you have to look at that make it more clear to you. And it's not something you have to tackle alone. I mean, Keller Williams agents are trained all the time. We're training and growing, like I said, with 85 agents and climbing about 5 a month. There's a reason for that. Why does a buyer's market create so much pain? Well, we haven't seen a buyer's market in like 12 years, but what factors influence an economic shift? All right, currency exchange rates, political climate, interest rates, inflation, population, jobs, household income, neighborhood dynamics, housing prices. Well, we have some political stuff going on, don't we, in this country? And nobody really knows who to believe. Inflation rates are as high as they've been in 40, 50 years. Usually interest rates are going to they're going to rise because we're trying to slow down that economy. It's got too hot too quick. But what did you expect? For 2 years we sat at home and got paid to do nothing, and then, printed $6 trillion on the old federal printing press, and then we said, okay, ready, set, go. People are out there spending money, and it's red hot, but that's going to lead to increasing rates. These are some experts out of a book called Shift. If individuals understand a shift or have actually experienced one, they know they have to push past the fear and face two tests. First, to survive, and then to thrive. They have to hang tough until the law of equilibrium reasserts itself. Then it's appropriate time. Basically, false evidence appearing real, FEAR. If you just sit around and watch negativity on the news, on the internet, on the TV, then you're going to be a negative person. Or if you're around people that are negative, then you're going to be, a combination of the 5 people that you hang around the most. So the key is to start thinking about things from a simple, basic, fundamental approach. Get outside once in a while. Stop the distractions and take action, because there's nothing that helps more to get your mindset into a positive place than doing something physical. Break a sweat. Talk to somebody about productivity coaching. If you're in real estate and you're struggling, give us a call. What is the law of equilibrium anyway? This law states that the available income in a market determines the number of agents in the market. As the number of transactions rises, so does the number of agents. Conversely, when the number of available transactions falls, so does the number of agents. People are attracted to the industry by the perceived income opportunity and driven out by the reality of the competition for it. All right, what does that mean? The people that do the right things in the right order with intensity will make it. But it's not a quick buck program. It takes time. It takes time to learn. It takes time to be successful. And you have to embrace rejection like it's your best friend sometimes. With the right tools and the right skill sets at Keller Williams, I'm pumped because I'm excited to launch this program. And I'm going to be spearheading it personally. I've decided that I need to get back into coaching and teaching at a higher level than I have been. That's how we got to, that's one of the reasons we got to where we did so fast. Well, frankly, I've had too much on my plate and I've let people down. And I've been delegating too much and not handling as an operating partner and designated broker. So, there's an old saying, you can delegate responsibility, but you cannot delegate accountability. So I'm looking myself in the mirror going, you know what? I've made some changes. I've taken some things off my plate. And I'm going to personally go back in and do everything in my power to help every one of our agents learn how to operate in a shift. But you know what? It's that old lead the horse to water, can't make him drink program, right? I can't make you show up. But if you want to learn real estate, I'll be here for you. And I'll be spearheading a brand new program starting June 1st. So it's cool. I'm excited. There's nothing quite like being successful through the success of others. I mean, to me, making selflessness, generosity a part of my business plan is so rewarding. That's why I said, money and success don't have a lot to do with each other. But I tell you what, there's nothing like helping somebody go from being stuck, scared, to being unstuck, not scared, confident, and watching them just do tremendously well in this real estate business. So I'm excited to get back to that. There is now more business relative to the number of people working to get it. This is the time to thrive. Yeah, balanced markets, man. More people are selling, thank God. Understand this, agents can and do thrive in a down market. Not everyone will, but anyone can. I'm a firm believer in that. So many people have habits built around a perfect market. Lowest interest rates in history. Well, those that want to change are going to go get their unfair share of the market. So, all right, when we get back, I'm going to dive into some tactics that you need to deploy in order to thrive in this shifting market. Hope you're enjoying this. The market's shifting, but that doesn't mean it's a negative thing. We can take advantage of it, sell your house if you're a seller, help you buy a house if you're a buyer, and if you want to go from being stuck to unstuck at your daily job, then come talk to us. There's a program for everybody. We'll be right back with Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan and Friends in just a few minutes.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Oh, sweet home, oh, sweet home.
Hi, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, thanks for tuning into our show each and every Saturday morning. I wanted to share the fact we have over 50 real estate agents, and there's a reason for that. Mainly, it's relationship and culture. You know, sometimes people definitely look at the money and the commissions and the splits, but at the end of the day, it's about relationships, trust, that familial connection that you have at Keller Williams. That's what we strive to do, and that's how we look at our clients. We now have offices in Brewster, Chelan, and Wenatchee. We have agents in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee and Cashmere and Leavenworth, Chelan, Brewster. Really having a good time. So if you're interested in learning about why is Keller Williams Realty growing as fast as we've grown and have as many agents that are focused on their clients as we do, give us a call at 509-888-0038 or just stop by and see us at 1111 North Mission Street right here in Wenatchee. Hey, this is Russ McClellan. You know, we started our real estate company, Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington, in the spring of 2018. We've grown to be the largest real estate company in North Central Washington, and there's a reason for that. We attract people that want to keep the vast majority of the money they earn because they deserve it. We attract people that know that Keller Williams is the most advanced education and training real estate company and the largest real estate franchise system on the planet. We're in approximately 55 countries with approximately 170,000 agents with the most advanced technology in a world that is driven by the digital age that there is in real estate. We also, if that's not enough, profit share at 49% above a predictable expense line monthly. If you're interested in learning more about Keller Williams Realty NCW, give us a call today at 509-888-0038 and let's talk real estate. Have a great day.
You're listening to Keller Williams Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Now back to the show.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. We're talking shift. We're talking about shifting real estate markets and how to thrive. And so I'm going to go into some tactics. Tactic number one, get real, get right, mindset, eats, strategies, and tactics, ironically, for breakfast. Work on your mindset. It can be done. You know how? Wake up, find out what you're grateful for, write it down before you do anything else. You know, put a little reminder on your mirror when you're brushing your teeth. What am I grateful for? Put a sticky note there. Journal it, all right? Write it down. That's going to help you navigate the day from a positive mindset. That one little trick. Check your email twice a day. Don't watch TV. If you do, make sure it's in your calendar. I'm going to watch TV from this time to this time. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to your critics. If people are negative on your social media accounts, block them. Delete it. Don't let any negativity in your life. When you start doing this, you know what? Maybe it's fantasy land, but it'll be a hell of a lot better than being depressed. All right? When a market shifts, there's only one thing to do. Shift with it, both mentally and with action. Success is never about the chosen few, but always about the few who choose. You can't control the market, but you can control your reaction to it, your outlook, and your response. Always be prepared for the low tide. You know, it's kind of that old cliche, plan for the worst, hope for the best. Have a plan B. All right, but simplify, get back to the basics. The difference between a career worth having and one worth leaving is the amount of focused action you take every day. It's really not quantum physics, real estate sales, right? If you're talking about becoming a real estate broker, or if you're a real estate broker listening to this, all right, we're not rocket scientists. It's a simple business. It's not an easy business, but it's a simple business. It just takes work, right? You just got to grind a little bit. Ask yourself what must be done right and what must be done now. Caution, what worked yesterday probably won't work today, nor tomorrow. You must take control over the ownership of the lead generation and lead conversion. The most humbling lesson of a shift is this: you succeed in good times, not only because of what you do right, but also in spite of what you do wrong. So the bottom line is, I mean, at the end of the day, lead generation is critical to your business. I joke around and say scuba divers need to get wet, right? It'd be kind of hard to be a scuba diver if you didn't get in the water. It's kind of hard to be a real estate agent if you don't lead generate. I don't care how you lead generate. We can talk about different ways, calling FSBOs, calling expireds, door knocking, lead generating online, and we provide a ton of this. So this program that I'm launching in June,
right? My leadership team is stoked. And again, I went down the wrong direction for a couple months. I cut loose of that direction. I'm reasserting myself into coaching personally at Keller Williams. And if you want to talk to me, give me a call. Just send me an email or give me a call at 470-2416. That's 509 area code. Or Russ at frontlinechelan.com, and just tell me that you want to learn real estate. We have a free school. It's called K-Score. So that $500 bill you don't have to pay. We've partnered with the largest real estate company in the nation, K-Score, and we're happy to hook you up. Anybody can do this game. Tactic number 2, remargin your business expense management. So whether it's your personal or your business, cut the fat out so you can spend more money on the things that make you money. If you're getting Starbucks every day, maybe it's time for Folgers Crystals. You know what I mean? Maybe it's time to get rid of that gas guzzler and go get a bicycle. I'm not joking. Like, if you live in town, start being frugal. Live on the low, invest on the high, and have a plan B to make it through. All right? The most successful people are those who are good at plan B. The number one determinant of thriving is lead generation, but the number one determinant of surviving is expense management. Only 2 ways to get ahead, right? Spend less or make more. In a shift, we need to do both simultaneously. That means we have to work harder? Well, yeah, and smarter. But sometimes just doing the right things in the right order will save you so much time, because the average person has gotten spoiled and entitled and thinks that they can just kick back and put their feet up on the desk and everything, the money's going to fall from the sky. The only thing going to fall from the sky with that attitude now is Chicken Little, right? We have to get real savage about working. And you know what? If you don't like it, don't do it. If you want to be a real estate broker, just realize it's hard work. It's not complicated work. It's hard work. But it can be very rewarding if you really do the right things in the right order and you surround yourself with the right energy. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to bring that energy to our office. When a shift hits, initially everyone gets hit equally. Those that will survive will be the ones that cut expenses and then cut some more. When you lead from a position of profit, your world is full of possibilities. Pretty self-explanatory, right? But if we wait till it hits you in the face, it might be a little late. Then you're going to have to do some 911 stuff. And that means really getting mean, really getting angry about where you're at. Because you should wake up a tad paranoid, hungry, scared. These are good things. This is the stuff that makes you feel better, because now you get off the couch. You got finally hit that low point where you're like, I'm not tolerating this anymore. Sure as hell I'm not going to go back to my day job, so I'm going to get mean, like double-day high school football mean. And it's fun. Do more with less through leverage. Leverage is a very underutilized component in real estate. A market shift can be an opportunity to evaluate, upgrade, and top-grade your business. If you want to stay ahead, then play like you are behind, right? I remember one of my basketball coaches, I mean, a high school football coach, I guess, would be like, we're up by 3 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter, and he said, you better treat this like you're 0-0, buddy. I mean, this is a new game, this fourth quarter. And you just got to play like you're behind. Your goal should be to generate leads at the highest possible level with the least amount of resources. If you know what needs to be done and when it must be done, then you're left with who and how, people and systems. This is the stuff that we at Keller Williams do. And whether you're a buyer or seller, you're going to benefit from this intensity. You're going to benefit from this recalibration that we're doing at Keller Williams. I mean, literally etch a sketch it. I'm writing a new business plan because the world is changing. The people part of your business begins with you are maximizing your own productivity, doing what matters most. The challenge in a shift is that in order to do more with less, you must make sure that the less can do more. Be careful. Others on your team will rarely make the leap in a shift on their own. They need to be led through the challenge. Top grade people and upgrade systems. So bottom line is, from my perspective as the owner and designated broker, one of the owners, I got to lead by example, because I've fallen into this trap too. I got too much stuff going. And I've made a conscious effort to just simplify my life so I can do what I do better. And that's be better at coaching and teaching and training and helping our agents. I mean, that's my number one goal. The mission statement at Keller Williams is to provide a life, that people want to have, a life that they enjoy, a life that fulfills them, right? to give people the life they want and the life they deserve using real estate as the vehicle to do it. That's my mantra. That's what I'm delivering. But you know what? I got a little lax last couple months. I thought other people could do it. Like I hired some virtual people and, that's the rage. Yeah, we have assistants, but you know what? Some things just need to roll your sleeves up and say, you know what? I'm going to get in the trenches with you and I'm going to lead with a sword and a shield and you're going to follow and do these things. And the next thing you know, you're going to be ahead of the curve. But people don't do that naturally. That takes leadership. And so I'm just pumped that I'm finally going to be, I just woke up, right? And I think it's okay for me I tell everybody, you got to be humble. You know, if you're not humble, life will humble you for you. You know, and I've been broke a couple times. So I'm going to get after it. And that's just a pledge that I'm making, verbally on the air, on YouTube, wherever this is playing. I'm getting real serious about helping people survive and flourish in a shifting market. Ask yourself how you can execute a task with less. That's the key. Effort and expense and still maintain high effectiveness. Everything must be extremely purposeful and streamlined. Wasteful time. Waste time. That's what we do. We waste time. Check your phone. How many hours have you been on social media this week? Do me a favor. If you're not happy with what you're doing, journal what you do every day for 5 days. And then honestly look at it and tell me what part of that was helping you or achieve your goals or you and your family's goals. If you're honest with yourself, you will find a lot of ways to get more efficient, right? And kick some butt. Sit down with your people and share your vision for your business. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Tell them the truth about your situation. I'm telling them right now, it's going to get tough. Where are we going? It's going to get tough. But I'm committed with you. You know, this is what Keller Williams is all about. The reason we sell so many houses, we're selling like 60 houses a month, right? We're in developments. If you have land that needs developed, we can help you. We have development consultants. We have allied forces. I've been doing this 32 years, right? We're the number one real estate company in all of North Central Washington by agent count, and our growth is crazy. But it's not going to last if we don't get real serious about getting real serious, right? The 80-20 rule, where 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Well, I think it's shifting more to a 95-5. That's because those 5% are doing the right things in the right order. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. If you feel like you're falling through the cracks, if you feel like your job sucks, if you feel like your days are not fulfilled with energy and enthusiasm, then call us at 509-888-0038 and decide today that you're pissed off, right? Let's get after it, but I'll be getting after it with you. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm excited. Can you tell? This has been a fun podcast for me, a fun radio show for me, because I mean every word that I'm saying. From the bottom of my heart, I want to help people. That's what turns me on. All right, when we get right back to Prime Lending, we're going to talk more about how do we handle the shift? How do we handle increasing interest rates? So look forward to it. All right, talk to you in just a few minutes.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true.
Hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated in the Teddy Bear Corral for the last few months. We literally were able to raise money and donated teddy bears to the tune of hundreds. And a little secret, it wasn't just teddy bears. There were stuffed animals of all kinds, from flying dragons to pigs. You know what? Kids are already feeling it. I appreciate it. Keller Williams was a major sponsor with PrimeLending, and we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done for our first responders so they can help our kids.
With the new Keller Williams School of Real Estate, you can now get your license for free. Access tools, tips, and personalized coaching with Keller Williams award-winning training programs, and start off your career in real estate the right way. K-Score is 100% online and entirely free to students, with pre-licensing curriculum geared toward placing aspiring agents on a direct path to licensure and profitability. With K-Score, we're not just unlocking the door, we're opening every door to anyone that's ever dreamed of starting their career in real estate. We're making a difference for you so that you can make a difference for others. Now available for all individuals in Washington. Your future awaits. Enroll today.
We're excited. We got a lot of people signing up, so give us a call, 509-888-0038.
or simply email us at joinus@kwncw.com. Let's go from being stuck to unstuck.
You're enjoying The Real Estate Show, Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Here's more with Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. Man, that was a great show. Great 3 segments. And now, as usual, the grand finale is with Michael Maher and PrimeLending. How you doing, Mike?
Good. Happy to be here, Russ, and spread some knowledge about what's going on in the mortgage industry right now.
Yeah, well, happy birthday month, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, calling in live from Nashville, Tennessee. No.
Yeah, turn the big 6-0. Oh, no, 3-0.
Oh,
30.
yep, cut that in half.
Not 60. So, hell, you got a lot of, you got a lot of room to roam. You're doing good. Well, I just thought we'd dive in. The economy is strange. Interest rates are climbing. Gary Keller says 7 to 8%. That's where we're going to hit. What are you guys hearing?
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, over the last few months, it's gone up significantly just from the beginning of the year. And, it tapers up and down, but it's trending upwards pretty substantially. And we've actually come up with some pretty creative options to keep people in affordable housing and make sure that we can try and keep their payments, lower so that they can afford to buy a home. And then, I'm excited to talk about some stuff.
Yeah, well, let's fire away because, we talk about this a lot, but when you're renting, you're paying 100% interest.
Yep, exactly.
So 6, 5, 4, 7. The key is lifestyle choices, and maybe you don't need the mansion right out of the gates.
Exactly, yeah.
So what are some of the things you're doing for people right now that are feeling frustrated because it was at 3% a couple seconds ago, and now we're at 4.5 or 5, something like that?
Yeah. So when we dive in, aside from looking at budget and what people are maybe getting pulled out for their paychecks as far as taxes and figuring out to free up cash flow on people's income, we have one strategy that we're really trying to educate people on, and that is with what's called interest rate buy downs. And we're in this transitionary phase where we are seeing some seller price reductions, maybe not extensively, but it's happening more and more. And I think as rates continue to increase, we're going to start to see a little bit of leveling off. But one way that we're educating people on is interest rate buy downs. And what I mean by this is, initially, if a buyer's coming in and they want to ask the seller for a price reduction, let's say in the case of $15,000 or $20,000, well, that sounds good as on face value. So let's say it's a $100,000 purchase price, and they say, okay, we want to offer you 80. Well, the payment when you do that doesn't change very much, and it's not really the best use of those funds. So what we're encouraging people to do is, rather than ask for a price reduction, you ask for seller paid closing costs or a permanent interest rate buy down. And what that does is you offer, let's say, a full price, if it's $100,000 purchase list price and you offer $100,000, but then you ask the seller to kick back, let's say, $15,000 or $10,000 in seller paid closing costs. You can use those funds to permanently buy your interest rate down at the expense of the seller, and you will your net payment will be significantly lower than if you were to ask for a $20,000 price reduction. And this is a very important topic to talk about because for the longest time, everyone's so focused on price, but you can use those funds and a strategy to end up having a much lower payment.
Yeah, we're in a weird place in this where we live. We get boosted by Seattle money, and we still, unlike the 2008 crash, where we had an oversupply, we are still short of houses, and it's not an easy fix. So if you're seeing appreciation still, which is slowing down for sure, but in that under $600,000 point, we're still appreciating. And I think the numbers were down from like 16, 17 to 9 and, over a few months. So it's changing, but over the long run, real estate has historically always appreciated. And so when
Even in 2008 when markets crashed, we just told people don't lock in your losses. If you don't have to sell, don't sell. So if you can get in, just get in the game. You're doing good, and being structurally creative on how we write the deals and working closely in a partnership with lenders. Literally, if you're using a lender and they haven't offered what Michael just talked about, you have the wrong lender.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's that simple. If you have a situation where your lender's only versed in what they've always done, market conditions change. So you should be getting educated by your mortgage broker to such a degree that you have the opportunity to make these choices for yourself. But if you don't know what you don't know, then there's no way you're going to do it. So it's one of the things I love about what you guys do at PrimeLending is you really develop a relationship, and you talk about options, and you talk about creativity, and being aggressive and creative are not bad words, right? I mean,
not at all.
So, yeah, and I think we're going to be faced with this for a while. So make sure your real estate broker and your lender, preferably Michael or Sharon at PrimeLending, are talking to you about solutions to your debt to income ratio, solutions to your actually monthly payment. Because in the long run, real estate is a great game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the other thing that we always talk about, Michael, is the creative programs. Sometimes you can go out and buy a house, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath Rambler for $450,000. There's only about 250 people that want to buy that house, right?
Yep.
Well, so what if you go out and you buy a 1-bedroom house on a nice lot? There's no better way to raise equity than to add square footage, correct?
Correct. You got it.
So maybe you could explain why would somebody buy a 1-bedroom house on a nice lot if they had 3 kids? Why would they do that?
Well, they would do that because there's this creative option called renovation loan or enhancement loan, like we like to refer to on this show. And basically what that allows you to do is stack in the cost of adding another bedroom, adding another bathroom, adding a shop, an accessory dwelling unit, so like a mother-in-law, and basically building in the equity and seeing the ugly duckling for what it is or what it could be, and creating your own equity in a market where these very competitive priced homes are going very quickly. So basically just seeing what the home could be and jumping on the opportunity that the renovation loan gives you to make your own equity, and not necessarily just equity, but to make the home how you want it. So whether you want to put a new roof on it, flooring, paint, like I said, shops and other things, the sky's really the limit when it comes to these programs.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is if you buy the house that's already done up perfectly, you're going to pay retail. I say imagination equals equity. So if you don't need any skill sets in the imagination game because the house is perfect, then you're going to pay full boat. But and therefore the guy that fixed it up had the imagination, and he gets the equity, or she gets the equity, or they get the equity. But if you're the buyer that uses the enhancement loan, and you come in and you buy a piece of crap, as long as it's got good bones and you get the right estimates from the good contractors, then you have equity because you're seeing it. You have the imagination to see what it could be, not what it is. And then you have a loan at PrimeLending that says, all right, I'll cash out that seller at $250,000, and then I'll have $100,000 because I qualify to $350,000, and I'm going to add 2 bedrooms, and I'm going to add a new kitchen, or I'm going to add a swimming pool, or I'm going to do a shop or an ADU, accessory dwelling unit. And then all of a sudden, when you're done, you have instant equity even in a seller's market. So what's weird is if you polled 100 realtors or 500 realtors or 1,000 realtors, how many of them would say, if somebody came to them and said, I want to buy a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house, I have 3 kids, how many of them would say, well, I think that may not be the right plan for you. You should buy a 1-bedroom house. They'd probably slap them, right? But that's how I do it. I like, look, man, if you want to pay retail, pay retail. If you want to end up with a hell of a lot less of a monthly payment, then let's get creative, because creative and aggressive are not bad words. And Michael at PrimeLending has the program to do it for you, including my son, Mason, who got out of the Marine Corps as a sergeant. No way he could buy a house in Chelan, but you know what he did? Bought a 95-year-old house that needed remodeled, but it happened to come with 3 city lots. Next thing you know, he got an enhancement loan, closed on it, and he used the remaining funds to put a new heating and cooling system in it, put a new septic system in it, and bam, he has equity, even in an extreme seller's market, like Chelan. So it works. Personal testimonial. It's cool, and you guys know how to do it. I mean, it's not the old school loan where that FHA, whatever that loan was back in the 80s.
No, it's a 203K. Everyone always seemed to think that was just a nightmare loan, but if you work with a lender that's done it and knows how to do it, it can go very smoothly. And if you have good contractors, the process is pretty seamless. And what's nice is, and a lot of people may not know this, is the work happens after you close. So you can still do a 30 to 60 day close. The seller gets paid off, and then the work can start after. And if you're like Mason and you got friends, you can do some of the work maybe yourself and pay them with pizza and beer, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and he did too. He had great friends that helped him out for a long time. So,
that's awesome.
You just have to get creative, and that's what, it takes a village sometimes to buy a house.
Exactly.
All right, man. Well, is there anything else we should be telling the general public? Got about 30 seconds left and we'll be done.
Yeah, no, I'd say don't pay attention to interest rates too much. If now is a good time to buy for you and it's something you're wanting to do, just call us at 425-760-8824 and just have a conversation. Don't listen to the news. A lot of it's always fear-based. Actually have a conversation with us and we can give you an idea of what the market's actually doing and how your situation can be creatively tweaked for what you guys are going through or what the individual is going through.
Yep, absolutely, man. Well, thanks a lot. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, everybody else, I appreciate you tuning in. Wow, great show. I love all you guys. Get out there, make it happen. Get outside, play with your kids. Go swimming. It's almost summertime. And like Michael said, don't watch the news. Just work hard. Enjoy the moment. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on Home Sweet Home with Russ, McClellan, and Friends.